Ladies and gentlemen, we have our last session of the day, but it is also on a very interesting topic that impacts all of us. Disposable incomes are increasing, wealth creation is accelerating. Conversations around succession planning are becoming increasingly important. Preserving wealth is not just about creating assets, but also ensuring their smooth transfer across generations. To have this discussion, please welcome Rajat Datta, founder, Inheritance Needs Services, Mr. Jatin Popat, founder of Viljini, and Mr. Vivek Sadle, co-founder, Legal Logic. Welcome everyone. I will also be moderating this conversation, but before we move forward, how many of you have created a will? Anyone? Okay, no one, 0%. How many of you have thought that you should create a will? Okay. How many of you think only rich people should create a will? How many of you think that only old people should create a will? Okay, so at least we are sorted there. Okay, so now let's see what the experts have to say. So I think the audience that is there has already told us that what is the first most important question. Why we need a will and why we need it in today's time. So Mr. Jatin, yes.
Thank you so much for having me here. So probably we all have some wealth, we have life ahead, we know, but what happens if we don't tell our family what we have? We have been writing will for many families and we observe that people have got more than 29 assets, bank accounts, demat account, flats, the lockers, so many things. So if they don't tell the family, they will run around for a treasure hunt where the money is. If something is missed, it will go to the government. Today, the government of India has got around 3 lakh crore of unclaimed wealth sitting in the government for many, many years, and that too without interest. Without interest, then just see how much money they have got, because people have not told to the family where the wealth is. The second one, the wishes. It is your money, it is your wish whom you want to give. If you don't mention your wishes in the will, then possibly the law of the inheritance which is prevailing in India for Hindu, for Parsi, for Christian, for Muslim, those things will come up. So do you want to allow the law to take decision, or you want to decide yourself whom to give wealth? So this is where we are saying that anybody having some wealth should write a will.
So thank you, Jatin. That brings me to, I'll just move in the order of the way speakers are sitting. Vivek sir, hard 3 lakh crore of hard-earned money sitting with the government, right? So what does that tell us? And there's also this perception that only the rich make wills and only the older people should make will, right? Why that perception needs to change?
I think we've all grown seeing the Bollywood movies where someone is dying and, at that time someone's coming in, some crooked fellow who's taking the signatures and so on and so forth. So that's kind of etched in our memory, Sonal. So that's what unfortunately translates into a situation where the will needs to get created only by certain sect of people. Only when you have, 2 bungalows, then you create a will and all of that. The COVID was a turning point, honestly, in terms of people realizing that the age does not matter. If you have assets, that's what matters, and if you have a responsibility, that's what matters. So when people come to us, we only look at whether they have, or when we go to people, I must say, is that do they have a responsibility? we say that when you get married, while you're doing everything, Naach, Gana and the big fat wedding, think about creating a will as well. And looking at when you create a home, while the banks talk about doing a term loan, which is now become the norm, that you go to an HDFC and SBI and what have you, they will say that, go and do a term loan aligned to the loan. We are saying that do a will as well, so that it passes on to the right set of people. So it's a myth that only old age or only a certain sect of people need to create a will. Our view is that everyone who has a responsibility and who has financial asset or a real estate asset must create a will.
Thank you. So while everyone should create a will, another very important thing is family structures are changing. Marriage today means many things. So, Rajat sir, as you work with a lot of clients, at inheritance needs, what is it that you see? Why will is becoming so important as family structures become complex? Relationships are not the traditional relationships that were there earlier. So, how is will actually leverage that can be used on these fronts?
Yeah, so it's very clear that when I am alive, I make money, I create wealth, and post my demise, who after me should be addressed, so that the next of my beneficiaries gets it seamlessly. And I think, as Mr. Jatin Popat rightly mentioned, more important is that they should have no pains while they inherit the wealth. When they have no pains, I need to decide what after me. And that's precisely the point where either a will or any other structure is entered into. So I will put it in a broad category known as a testamentary document, because as you know that if you don't give something in writing, then the succession laws applicable to you on the religion of birth will get triggered. And that process is time consuming and cost gulping. So if you have made the wealth for the people who want to enjoy the wealth after you, that's your family,
Rajat
then
sir,
why
can
not
you talk
also
a bit
make
about
it?
Succession law? Can you talk a bit about succession laws for the audience?
Oh,
as
succession laws.
Thoda
Fine. So I'll just complete this point. So they might as well be guided to navigate how to achieve the wealth. To talk of succession laws, Hindu Succession Act talks of Jains, Hindus and Buddhists, while Indian succession talks of Parsis, Jews, Christians and any other under the Special Marriage Act. That's where Indian Succession Act. And for the Muslim, you have the Muslim personal laws. So if you don't decide whom to give the wealth, either through a testimony document which is a will or a trust, the laws are in place and which are pretty stringent and followed in totality. And not like the earlier days, there is no question of interpretation. There are n number of court cases in High Court and Supreme Court to enable you to guide, and hence it's imperative that you make a will or a trust deed.
Can you share that through an example, please?
Sure, let's talk. You also mentioned about change in social fabric. India's social fabric is changing. Today we are talking of children being married into different religions across territories, countries. You may have your son getting married to a Danish lady. You can have your daughter get married to somebody in Japan. In such a scenario, the wealth is in India. You might as well put a testament document to put that in place. To talk of the question that she mentioned, the tolerance level among couples is on the decline. You have made wealth, you want to give it to your son, but you are afraid if the son or the daughter's marriage is not going to last long, then the partner of the son or the daughter is going to take a lot of the wealth out of the divorce decree. And hence, why not plan and conserve your wealth for your family? That's one of the direct examples.
Vivek sir, would you, and I would also open this question to you, Jatin sir, about we now have people, LGBTQ, we have gay marriages, we have people who do
Live-in.
not want to have children. So what is the role that will plays? I mean, that is the reality of today. So what is the role that will plays there?
Yeah, I mean, you can do also a couple of other ones like disability. So recently we went to a home which is serving the disabled child, and we were talking about what happens beyond the parents to those children. And now we are trying to create a mechanism where there is a will, there is a trust, and there are multiple other ways in which we are trying to see. And this problem, just extrapolate this problem into the whole of India, and each of the things that Sonal mentioned, and if you extrapolate, the problem is so deep and so the easiest way is to create a will. We always say that, you're making a lawyer rich if you don't create a will. That's unfortunate part. Anyone who has a home in a city like Mumbai, Pune, or any metro would end up paying 75,000 rupees just the stamp duty onto the court as to get a succession certificate. And then you have 6 to 9 months of wait, and so on and so forth. So there is a lot of that deserves an attention from someone to say that why you can't create something which doesn't need a stamp paper, can be done on a plain paper, can be done in your own handwriting, can be done in your own language. It needs just 4 or 5 checkpoints. Having done so much, the last mile left to chance creates and makes lawyers rich soon.
Mr. Popat, I would like you to address this question about why it is so inherently important for women. I mean, like we are talking about people with disabilities, LGBTQ, gay couples, but why women especially?
Sure. So first I will just add something on what Vivek said. So we had a couple of cases around. Many couples, they decide not to marry and they do a live-in relationship. There are cases now going up. There are cases people are separated. The cases, divorce cases going for years and years, and they start living some other partner. And those cases are also there in India. LGBTQ, we had a couple of cases attended. People had married into Switzerland or London, but they have wealth here in India. How to do it? So live-in relationship and those type of family, definitely there is a stress or a concern, because when they write a will and they want to bequeath to them, there is a problem that legal heir might object. So that is a hurdle for that inheritance. Sometimes we do family trust so that they at least get a wealth. However, there are taxation issues there. So it is not such a straight here. In India, some of the laws are yet to evolve to the international level. Secondly, for the women that you mentioned, like in India, like unlike other global countries, most of the asset in the family, they are kept in joint name, a bank account, demat account, flat, so many things. The husband and wife, they try and keep in joint. That's a, I would say, the tradition or the way of life that India has got. Now, the joint name could be that a woman has earned and it is kept in her name with the husband, or husband has earned and the name of the wife is added to the asset as a convenience purpose. But legally, one has already given a gift. So if I add my wife to my flat, if she has not earned or put contribution, I would say I have gifted her 50%. That's the normal legal stand I would like to tell you. Now, woman who has earned and kept somebody, or they have not write a will, it may happen that the asset which she has earned, it might go to husband's siblings. So in case where they don't have kids, then in that case, if there is no will of the woman, then the asset will go to the husband's siblings, not to her parents or something. So this is a very important thing that women, whether they've earned or not earned, they should make their will for the wishes what they want to give it to, whether their parents, whether their whoever they want to give. And so it is very, very important, and which is really lacking in India.
So, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Datta, would you like to take up this point about women and in general also about...
So let me talk about women folk. We have made wills for workers in regional language. And why did the CEO want that to be done? Because he said my worker is illiterate, but because he's working in a MNC, he actually knows what the laws are. But when he dies, his wife is illiterate. The children just put the lady on the phone, onto the train, say we are going on for pilgrimage, and they get down in the next station, and that's she lands up somewhere in a place of religious location without losing everything, and she's too illiterate to come back. To secure them, the CEO asked us to make wills in the regional language. So will is an extremely strong woman empowerment tool, which you must understand. And according to me, the women is the people who will drive their men or their husbands to make wills, because when a husband dies, the woman does not know where the assets are, who the assets are, where the documents are. If she knows all the three, she does not know whether the documents are in a position that it will go to her. And if she knows all the three, she does not know how to do it. So that's important that both women and men both make a will.
Thank you. Vivek sir.
Can I just add one point? What we are recommending is that the husband and wife should make separate but simultaneous wills. We are suggesting that if the woman is making, the men in the family should make, and if the husband is making, the wife should also make. Because, like Jatin Bhai said, it is a joint, most of the assets are held jointly. Unfortunately, unlike income tax, the succession law says that it's a 50-50 if it's jointly owned. And then what you pass on through your will is only your part of your share. And you have no idea whether you are going to go first, or she is going to go first, or he is going to go first. So therefore, not a joint will. We don't like joint will. We don't have time, but at some point in time, it's also a good idea to explain why joint wills are not recommended. You make wills separate but simultaneous, same time.
There's also this concept of living will. In fact, Maharashtra is the first state that has now created a framework for a living will. So how is that different from a financial will, so to say? Jatin sir.
So living will is something where if somebody is sick and the person is on life-saving equipment in the hospital, ventilator and all. So at that moment, there are cases that some people have been alive in that condition, coma type of condition for months, and the hospital bill goes on and on and on. So what happens to those type of cases? Family are not allowed. The medical council doesn't allow them to stop the treatment or take out the ventilator. So that is why the living will concept is come, that I can write my living will, that something happens in those situations within a week, Mr. So-and-so, my family member, they will go to doctor and they will say, please take out all the treatment, they let them peacefully die. And the doctor will have the panel, they will decide, they will go to the government panel, and then they will allow to remove. So to avoid those, the long-term medical treatments or maybe hospital bills, some people can have raised this issue, and it has become a fact now. Since 2018, this is there in India, it is allowed, and 2023 there is improvement has come. It is becoming slowly flexible. Maharashtra is the first state in India which has allowed this living will to be deposited in a portal. So there is a soft copy they can put. Earlier, this was supposed to, you have to go to the BMC office, you have to sit with them, you have to submit. So there was hassle in implementing those type of things. Now it is they are slowly easing out the thing. but it is not completely fully done. So we are happy that they have done something like this, and it will improve further so that even these type of issues can be sorted out by writing a living will. It's a separate document than the normal will. Normal will is after death. Living will is to decide the death in case of such situations.
So essentially, you get to decide how you want to die, at home or in the hospital, and that's what the living will is for. And because families sometimes, I mean, because of so many other cultural reasons, I mean, emotional reasons, it gets extremely difficult for them to make certain calls. So this concept of living will gives the person that authority, that like on how they want to essentially die, so to say,
I
right?
just want to add one thing here. Dr. Datar is a gynecologist in Mumbai. He is doing a big campaign for last 5-6 years. He's been fighting with the government of Maharashtra to ease out the process. He has gone to High Court many number of times. So luckily it is being now becoming the reality, and things are getting really moving in the right direction.
So from here, I would want to move on to this now concept of trusts, because that's another very important area now that's coming up as inheritance. The asset class itself has now become so diversified. Vivek, would you like to take this up on the range of assets now with crypto, bitcoins that are there? Touch upon that issue and maybe start with introduce the concept of wills and trusts.
So the trust is like HUF. We have all graduated under the Hindu. So the HUF as a concept, which is slowly dying, but that was one tax planning instrument or an entity that people used to create. Now people are moving to look at a private trust to ring fence what Mr. Datta was talking about. When your child is getting married or your daughter is getting married, you're looking at ring fencing those assets by creating a situation where it's not your personal asset but is sitting into a legal entity which has its own different existence. The trust is also being created while there has been lot of conversation about there will be an inheritance tax that might come, and people are saying that it is not my asset, it is a trust asset that we are looking at. People also look at creating this private trust when you want to have you possibly have a disabled child, you want beyond you someone to take care of it, or you have shares in a company, you are looking at creating a mechanism where you want to pass it on. You don't want one person to sell the shares, and you can write, unlike a will where there are limitations, you can write the rules of the games in terms of how that asset beyond you or during your lifetime as well can be moved in a particular way. And we have seen this happen as we speak with multiple families, and people are actually creating, this is the place where the wealth gets created. This is the real place where you see so many people are now creating wealth, and that's where the trust comes into being. Remember that the will comes into the force only after the demise of the creator, whereas the trust can be a testamentary, which is like created through will, or can get created at the time when the person is alive, and you can push your certain assets. Also remember that lot of children today in the family are going abroad. The trust mechanism is not always suitable in all situations. So the way we look at is that we would first look at the objectives and make sure those objectives meet the smell test of why the trust is to be created. When you create a trust, you need to manage it, you need to file a different income tax, you need to keep the accounts. So it's not a what we call zero maintenance, unlike will, where there is no maintenance. Once you create a will, there's no maintenance at all. It's a document that's kept, executor looks at it and comes into being. Unlike that, the trust has its own nuances of maintenance. So before you enter into trust, understand what you are getting into and what would be the maintenance cost, and will the beneficiaries in the trust understand the mechanism And is that what we call as a perpetual trust? Can that be dismantled? What are the rules of the game? That becomes very critical. Also, the cost of creating a will and the trust. So if it's like 1 rupee to trust, you will have, say, at least 10 rupee to, so it's a 10x cost of creating a trust. So those are some nuances looking at that.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivek.
So as far the trust is concerned, just 2 points, which I think most of them is covered by Vivek ji. One is that if you have a child who needs a little additional support than the other child who is all okay, you may want to give him more bequeath and not jeopardize the interest, which could, if you do through a will, could be contested. So you make the trust deed to enable increased bequeath to one of the beneficiaries as compared to the other. Second, you want to share your wealth intermittently over a period of time, as you mentioned, over 10 years, 15 years, 25 years. A will is like a toilet paper. You use it as soon as you die, implement it, and that's gone. But a trust would remain as a structure with eternity, as you rightly mentioned, which can be used for intermittent bequeath over a period of time. So I think, as you rightly mentioned about the cost, let me tell you, the cost of not making a testamentary document is enormous. Please understand that. Hence, it is cheaper to make a testamentary document or whatever you choose, depending upon your profile of investment and beneficiaries or family configuration, it needs to be done. Thank you.
So while we are speaking a lot on the importance and we have spoken a lot of quantitative aspects, I would want to highlight some qualitative aspects. So for example, there was this one gentleman I spoke to who wanted to create a trust because his idea was that in case something happens to him and his wife, the son of course will inherit the money, but he wanted to create certain conditions. There was no court case against him. The son finishes the education on time, is a good student, a good citizen. So he had a set of these 5-6 conditions. So even on certain qualitative aspects, a trust as a feature becomes more effective. Another couple did not want to have children, but they had 10 pets. They were cat lovers. They ran an NGO for cats, and their biggest concern was who would take care of their pets, their NGO. And that's where they created a trust where they appointed a guardian who would come, feed the cats, and ensure their requirements are met. So I would like Mr. Datta to take this point forward and also talk to us about how, in today's setup of nuclear families, where the people you're dependent on, there's just one person, caretaking responsibilities are so much. So how does trust factor there?
Yeah, so this comes under special situations wherein you have, after you die at the age of 85, 89, we just heard that the longevity is going up, your wife is also going to be 80 plus, and probably she'll be very vulnerable at that point of time when one of her kids or daughter or son comes and says, "Ma, ye sign kar dijiye," and out of mamta ki ubhar aane se she will sign, and she will lose all the wealth. So the trust is a good structure to cap that vulnerability, because now one signature won't come, there will be 2 or 3 signatures. We have a trust formed with only one asset, which is about gold. And why did the father create a trust for the gold? Because the daughter-in-law said that looking at the value of the gold, it seems that your son doesn't want to now go to do business and he wants you to sell it and us to enjoy. I have 2 daughters and I'm worried, you better put it in a trust so that even after you die, he cannot sell it. So there is a trust which is formed only with one asset, which is gold. I am not giving the value of the gold, but that's how it is. There are cases, as you rightly mentioned, of special situations wherein the child doesn't want to marry. And if he marries, the trust is going to give him an incentive. If he has the first child, the trust is going to incentivize that the child marries and have a... So these are special situations which cannot be handled through a will, but can only be handled through a trust.
Okay, so this brings me to My question, because everyone's afraid of lawyers. Let's be very realistic. Everyone thinks they're expensive and they are somewhere, it's better that they're somewhere far away, right? So, in this context, how easy is it to create a will? Or how difficult it is?
Creating a will is not difficult at all. It's a simple process. You can write your will on a plain paper, no stamp paper required. You can write in own handwriting or by a computer. You can make it in your language or in regional language or English. So these are the simplest thing. You have to mention who are you, your family, your assets. You don't mention the value and to whom you want to give. These are the very basic thing you can mention in the will. You have to sign in front of two witnesses and that becomes the legal will. So this is the simplest way which I have taken for you to at least understand. It's not that complication. It's a declaration. My money, this is my money. I want to give in this fashion to these people in this ratio. This declaration is enough for the Indian law to accept it and allow those distribution. One can go to the legal professional for some more clauses around for the future asset or maybe for some legal language. But it is not compulsory that you have to go to the legal professional. You can make your will. However, it is just a hygiene purpose. People are going there because we are spending 5,000 to 50,000 rupees every year on vehicle insurance. And here you have 5 crore, 10 crore wealth. You can spend 5,000-10,000 rupees for proper will. Otherwise, your will is there. But if something is contradictory there could be a fight. So the purpose will not serve.
He's asking, does it need to be probated?
So probate comes only after the death. So yeah, registration of a will is something people are asking a lot. Registration means you also add government as one of the witness, which is not mandatory. If you wish, you can go to the registrar office and very small amount they take and you can get registered. The probate is only after the death when the family says we don't accept this, or when you go to your flat people or the bank people, they say we don't know this will is final or correct. Go and let the court say this was the final will and there is no dispute. So the court will do a probate and they will give a certificate, this is the final will, let's distribute the asset now. So that's a probate which happens. That happens also very few cases. I would say not more than 5%. Not mandatory.
Okay.
It is deed based only.
Can you talk about what is probate and what is registration and,
Yeah. So registration is something where you are visiting to the register, sub-registrar of the nearest to your house. Normally we give to property matters, the flat and all. So you have to go there. You have to produce your original will that I have come here. These are my two witnesses who have signed. Please you become the witness. So they register the document, they scan the document and give you the original copy. And that copy remains with the government. So somebody should not say this was a fake. There is something is genuine, authentic. However, nobody can say this was the final, because even after registration might have done new will. So for that this probate is required.
Thank you. So, Mr. Sathe, but what are the reasons why does a will get contested? We see so many, news is full of such cases. So, but if it's this simple, why does it get contested and why are family members fighting amongst themselves?
So Sonal, if someone has to fight, they will. It's human to fight, and when it's money, people fight. That's a given. There are certain technicalities which can get contested. There are wills where intent is contested. There are wills which talk. There are so many lot of those situations that happen. We are right now in the midst of a very celebrated one in Delhi, as we all know. And it's great gossip and it's great. The only good part that we talk about is that, it's giving a publicity that you must create a will, right? That's the only thing. But then the will has got contested of the biggest politician of Maharashtra who expired a decade back. their children, contested that particular will. So you can imagine those who have all the wherewithal, right? We are talking about 30,000 crore worth of assets being contested with a will, proper will, which means that people with all the wherewithal also can get into these situations. Therefore, our view is that when you do not have any issues, you must definitely create a will. If there is some issues in the family, whether you create a will or not, those will anyways happen. Even there, you are looking at making sure that, like Jatin Bhai rightly said, you have to make sure that you have witnesses. The beneficiaries are not witnesses. So there are some checkpoints that you must make sure that happens. On larger wills, Sonal, what we are advising is get a video done. We are talking about, get the RFID done. So we are, using technology to establish the fact that this is the genuine and a final will. And obviously we are recommending, though it is not legally required, to go and register the will. Because, you go to your society, the chairman will say, "Are ye registered nahi hai, I won't accept it." So then you are again going and getting a probate, even though you have taken all the hassle of creating a will. Therefore, we are suggesting that be practical, look at what are the checks and balances, and therefore, going to a professional at the last minute to make sure that he does all the checks and balances for you is also recommended. While, this means business to us, all three of us are in that particular profession, but I mean, you go to a tax advisor to file your tax return is the same thing, that your last mile check from a professional helps your beneficiaries so much of hassle. That's an important one. And registration, though not compulsory, we are recommending that please go and register at a certain age when, your asset building is stopped. You're not adding assets and your family is fairly well settled. The son is married, the daughter is married, or what have you. And therefore, you are not adding any other beneficiaries or asset class, but you are clear in terms of how you will distribute. We are saying then go and register.
Thank you. Mr. Datta, there are also certain ways in which you write or create a will which ensure that it is not contested. And you have given examples of how first you have to create a basic list of your assets and also your liabilities and a lot of such other things. So can you please talk to us about that?
So we have actually divided the will into two parts, which is known as the subject clause and the object clause. According to us, the object clause is all the assets that you have, will own from the date of signing the will to the date you die. And the subject clause is actually the beneficiaries. When we make wills, we cover three lineages. So I will say after me, my wife. If my wife dies before me, then my children. If my son dies before me, then his daughter or their family with children. If he dies without getting married, divorced, or having no children, then to whom? When I cover three lineages, and I also cover three types of assets, covering from my date of signing my will to the date I die through a residual clause, I do not see any reason why this will cannot be robust enough to take it forward. Where I think one important thing is missed out, while I think both my co-panelists have rightly said that there are checkpoints, but in most cases, people when they write a will, they say this is my house, this is what I own, but when you look at the document diligence and hygiene, you find out that the land belongs to the father. Father has died and he built the house, presuming that it is his house, but actually it's only the structure which is his. Now that cannot be willed, because the land underlying belongs to his house, it belongs to his father. The father died, he has brothers who have not claimed any mutation, so the land does not, so that cannot be willed. But that is written in the will. There are people who write, my share in the HUF should go to so and so. Shares in HUF cannot be willed. So there are time in such cases, and which when you write, this gives enough opportunity to the aggrieved beneficiary to file a case. And I think what my colleagues here and the panel rightly said, that don't look at not employing a professional, because the cost of employing a professional is peanuts as against the pain and the cost that we'll have to bear later on.
Thank you. So I'll just put one number to put all of this in perspective. 100 lakh crore. That is the number that will be transferred from the current generation to the next in India in the next 10 years. And that is where all of this will come into the fore. Because there will be cases, the money lying with the government probably will increase, decrease. All of that is hard-earned money. And then it's up to us of whether how we want to transfer it to the next generation. My last question to all of you, if you have to, since none of us, me included, have thought of or created a will, what is the first step? Because there's also this whole fear that no one wants to think that they're going to die or will die, right? So what is that? What is the first step towards making a will? It's all three of you.
Sorry. So, first thing is awareness. What we are doing is right thing. India Today, thank you so much for this awareness. And this is a very basic thing which is needed by all. One is to understand. Please go back to 20 years back when you have a Mediclaim came into India. Nobody was aware what is Mediclaim. People have started taking it. Now it is almost many households has got. Today when somebody asks you, the insurance agent, we have a renewal for Mediclaim. You don't ask questions. You immediately pay the renewal fees and complete. So initial period when there is a product is new, people want to know more. So please note that moving the thing is important and then taking action. Nobody has a date of expiry, that we all know. So we can't say that I will do it later. So even that is a mistake, that one should not wait. If you are 40 plus, family is there, some assets is there, one should immediately take action, make a will and go on changing every day. It's not a problem. But keep it. You have a Mediclaim policy, you have got a vehicle policy, you have got a insurance policy, so many things you have got. So why not one piece of paper which will cover lot many asset and peace for your family?
Thank you.
I think I would suggest that the biggest time that it takes is to create inventory of assets. The object clause, as Mr. Datta said, I think that's the key. We recommend people to look at what are your assets. Don't miss out, because you miss one and then you still have the same situation for that asset as if you didn't create a will. Therefore, that asset creation and making sure that that asset ties up with what the legal title to that asset is, that's the most critical part. That's where the miss is, and that's what takes the most time. So the recommendation is that get everything in order, and then creating will becomes very easy.
So before we move on to Mr. Datta, one thing, one of you gave me this example of bitcoins from the Singapore. Would you want to share?
Sure.
That's a very,
I mean, so this COVID taught us so many things, and each of us lost someone near or dear, friends, family. We had a client who was a CFO, very interesting personality. Unfortunately, we lost him at a very young age, in his mid-40s. He had, when the wife came, she was a chartered accountant as well. She came back. They were living in Singapore. Singapore has a different law in terms of, they require you to create a document which is like what we have a nomination. They force you to create one. Otherwise, you lose your assets to the government after the death. So most of the people would create a will. He created a will as well, though he owned $2 million of crypto. $2 million. Now the way the crypto works, it's you have a password, and those who have dealt with, those who have not dealt are more happier than those who have dealt with it. But then when you look at this particular situation, he missed that whole thing. He had whispered to her saying that we own crypto, and when she came to us, she said that I lost 2 million that I know on the crypto, but I don't know what else I have lost, because now it gives me jitters. If he didn't write the crypto in his will, what else did he miss out? So therefore that creating inventory, Sonal, is a critical thing from my perspective.
Thank you. Mr. Datta.
If I can take the privilege of the last word, I will say procrastination is a cheap hobby. and an expensive proposition.
So thanks a lot. This is a subject that is most often overlooked. A lot of us don't want to talk about it, but it's so critical, for preserving family wealth. So thanks a lot, and I would like to invite Mr. Sire Ranjit, Managing Editor at India Today, to please come to the stage to do the honors.